The Simpsons. Dun, 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 dun. Hey guys, Steve-O here from Movies and TVs on the Ball, and with me as always is,
Jay,
and we are doing. This is part of our Simpsons podcast, a Simpsons podcast. We might come up with something a little bit more clever, but that's what we got for this section. So this episode is from season
6,
six, episode
21 or 22. I can't.
22, I think. Uh, I think it's called the PTA Disband, uh, which came out in. I think it's season 6. Yeah, it's episode 21 came out April 16th of 1995, so it's about 30 years old now. Um this one was uh directed by Swinton O. Scott III, who was the art developer for Ice Age and Robots, and he also directed episodes of Futurama. So, this episode is pretty much it's a pretty good episode. Jay, what was your let's I guess the plot of this one is the PTA is um the, Principal Skinner is working on a budget.
Yeah, the school's pretty much out of money.
Money, yeah, and the school is pretty much out of money, and he's like going through the budget, and Edna Krabappel is kind of asking how much, when can we start seeing some money or seeing a raise going on,
Right, yeah, and just complaining about the state of like their supplies.
supplies and stuff. And then the teachers end up going on strike. So the kids end up feeling like it's a great opportunity.
Right,
And then the parents end up coming in and teaching them.
right.
And that's pretty much the episode, but we're going to go more into detail with that. So, Jay, what was your thoughts on the episode?
I guess this is out of the episodes I can remember. This is I think one of my favorites.
Oh, you've seen this one before?
Yeah, it's just been a long time. It's got some of my like I think sort of favorite little quotes and
Quotes. I
yeah,
think Jasper, who is Grandpa's roommate in the old homes, he's
right,
the one that goes, "Talking out of turn, that's paddling.
right,
Talking too much, that's paddling." Um, you better. And the other thing he says, like, after talking this much, you better believe it's a paddling thing. And so what I liked about this episode was I liked this was sort of, I think Edna and Skinner sort of first time kind of kind of we kind of can see kind of the semi blueprints of sort of their relationship a little bit,
yeah,
you know. And so what I liked about this episode is that we get to see them. She ends up Edna Krabappel's like, talking about how the teachers need more funding, and like we even know they need more funding because even Otto driving the school bus, they can see out of this like there's no tires on the school buses, and there's no like
the floor's like
the
rotting out,
floors rotting
like
out.
their brakes don't work.
Their brakes don't work. I mean, it's so
He's
like
having like siphon gas
you
out of other
siphon
cars.
gas out of other cars. So that's kind of pretty funny. And then the
Like can't pay tickets to get into the Civil War
Yeah, so they
reenactment.
go to see a Civil War reenactment, which I think is this is the first one they've done because there's an episode in like season 13 where they do a Civil War reenactment,
Okay,
and there's an episode where Mo says, "Okay, you can't hit anybody," and he's like, hit with stick," and he hits him and he says, "Die, you bastard," or something like that. But so we see the Civil War reenactment and it's kind of like they've got this fort, and it kind of reminds me of like this sort of kind of colonial thing you probably see up in like the mountains. You know, not the mountains, but like in a museum, kind of a
right.
reenactment. And so after they get back from the teach or from the field trip, that's because it's a disaster. Um, you want to after the disaster,
Right. That's where we sort of get into where Edna's complaining about the
the
state of the
state of
school
the school and how the teachers
and how
are
they can still taste the newspaper in the food.
yeah the newspaper of the food and how the kids aren't really like are just rowdy and I think they have they have budget problems with the cafeteria which has some
Right.
pretty good lines
Yeah.
um and so
Then sort of Bart sort of manipulates the situation to get the
yeah
teachers to go on strike.
and I like how he does it because he does it where he says um he'll like go, "Did you hear?" Like kind of he'll mock the voice of Skinner,
Right.
and Edna listens to him, and Edna will be like, "Did you hear about this? How do you know this?" Bart was faking rumors about about the school supplies and how the school was gonna be is not given enough money and
And it's like the teachers like they wouldn't actually strike or they would fold.
pulled right and then this ticks off Edna Krabappel and the rest of the teachers.
Right.
And so then they form a strike
Right.
and they get out and they've had their picket signs and uh,
So all the kids get to go home.
home, and the parents are like, what do we do? And then some of them, it's like Millhouse's parents kind of
They get them a tutor.
get him a tutor, and it's like a kind of this sort of erudite kind of
Right.
tutor. And he's like, "Well, sir, we can do this for you." And then you had Bart, or you had Bart kind of just Bart and Lisa just sort of are going out playing.
Well, if
Or
Bart, if Lisa's like having like school
oh yeah,
withdrawals.
that's right, right. So Lisa is like having school withdrawals, and she's it's kind of like she's a junkie almost.
Yeah.
And Bart's kind of sliding on easy streak. This isn't really a big Homer or Homer episode,
It's much more a Bart episode.
Bart episode, right? And then, so then after a couple weeks, then Bart and Lisa end up going to, or Marge. They get the teach the parents to come and teach,
Right.
and so Bart's worst nightmare that uh, is Marge takes over for Edna Krabappel's fourth grade class,
Right.
and she is kind of like she kind of really babies him, and this for Jimbo and Kearney and well Nelson's not really in this episode
Like very briefly.
briefly, yeah, yeah. So they basically beat him up for not playing, or not, or for having basically the fact that his teacher mom's is the teacher kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then you got Jasper. We did the Jasper
Yeah. You mentioned Jasper with the paddling.
paddle, and that's kind of a
Um, and then sort of Bart has to do the opposite thing. Now he has to spread rumors to get
teacher's
the
back.
now he's trying to get them back together, not
which is a pretty good, kind of like kind of reduces its story. It kind of reminds me of the Auto Show episode where Otto loses his privileges to drive the school bus. That episode in like season three. This kind of reminds me of that, so at least that plot line works. Um, and so they got this they get the teacher strike back or to not strike, and then the episode's kind of over.
Right, and they sort of fix their budget problem by housing the prison at the school.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. So, Jay, what was your thoughts on this episode? Like watching it?
I'd say this is a very good episode. I feel like the jokes, they kept coming really quickly and they all hit.
They all hit. Yeah, I feel like they hit too. I
I
feel
don't
like
think there was a single bad joke.
bad joke in there, and I liked the. I mean, I know this episode really didn't have a lot of Homer in it, but he kind of in his scenes he was really good in it. You know, um, I read some trivia. And I like the fact that this was kind of the first episode where Seymour and Edna kind of you can kind of see them kind of slowly building their relationship a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So, we won't see that until season 8. Um, and despite the title, but for here's a little bit, but I guess we'll do what. So out of 1 to 10, how would you rank this episode?
I would give this one a 9 or a 10 to me.
Okay, okay,
Would you?
I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
It's not it's really good. I mean, it's a really good strong episode. I think it really worked. I think the comedy really works. I think it's a really, it's not as memorable. I mean, it's memorable, but it's not as famous
Yeah.
as, let's say, like Homie the Clown
Yeah.
or Bart's or the Bart After Dark, or some of those other episodes. It works out pretty good. I got a little bit of so I give it like an 8. I feel like
Okay.
an 8. And I've got some trivia. Bart's chalkboard gag is, I don't have the power of attorney over the first grade
Right.
over first graders. Um, Despite the title of this episode, at no point does the PTA actually disband. The title was suggested by David Merkin and was intended to poke fun at Jennifer Sertiden, who thought the most exciting part of the teachers going on strike would be that the PTA might disband. In addition to this, Macon added a character to this episode who, on the
The guy that jumped out the window.
yeah, jumps panicked out of the window. He's jumping back in the same window when he's told the PTA is not disbanding. Um, this book in Mrs. Krabappel's classroom includes Tech War, Theory of Evolution, Sexist, 40 Years of Playboy. Still this book. Mac with Apple Watch. Still this book. Hop on Pop and the Satanic Verses. But yeah, I think this was a good episode. I think it's not, it's a good, strong episode. And I think this was kind of in the hype when the Simpsons were still, I mean, they're still strong, but
Yeah.
kind of still, they were new and fresh a little bit in this episode. So I give this episode probably a 8.5.
Okay.
Um, I think it works out pretty great. Did you have any funny moments?
There's tons. I guess my
What was
favorite
it?
little quote from this is where Bart is flying his kite at night, and just Marge says it's so unwholesome.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
doing. Oh, yeah, that was funny. I liked that. I liked Homer. I like the scene where the bullies. I liked how Jimbo and Kearney, and I've noticed that this episode Nelson doesn't really join
not
Jimbo
much. I
and
think he's just
Kearney
shown
that.
like real briefly, and like I think was maybe like kicking Bart for his
Yeah,
collar.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I like the so I also like the I did like this episode. I feel like it really was worked. It's a nice clean. I mean, not clean, but it's a nice episode. Like it's not flashy, but it's not dull.
yeah.
So I would probably say that this was a good episode. I hope you guys liked it. But let's see. I'll give you a little bit of trivia. This uh, when Bart causes a run on the bank, and a man says, "I don't have your money here. It's in Bill's house and Fred's house." That's a reference to. I like how they had that
Yeah,
Wonderful Life
yeah,
reference, and I like to see them. I like the fact we got to see the kids out and about. What would it be like if school was out? You know, but that's kind of our look at PTS Demand. I think it's a good, strong episode. It's just I feel like it's memorable, but it's not something that it's kind of. I'd probably be like in a top. Oh, I do kind of remember this episode.
yeah.
Like it's not like Camp Krusty or some of the other ones, but let's just say it's a pretty good episode. So that's our look at the PTSA disband. I'm for Simpsons podcast. I'm Steve, and is with me as always is my
Jay,
Homer or my Marge, Jay, and that's that. Tune in next time. We'll probably this is kind of like a little mini episode. We'll probably discuss
probably either Tron or the Mask of Zorro. I guess.
Mask of Zorro or Tron. So, because Tron Ares is coming out in October. So, guys, have a great one and dun 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 dun. Bye.